One can only admire the communications strategies of those people who are advocating for it, because sort of out of a clear blue sky, it's now looking, more and more likely that the thunderclouds are rolling for a second referendum.
Yeah, indeed, and on that, Scarlett Maguire, we've also had reports today that David Lidington, Theresa May's de facto deputy, has been holding talks with Labour MPs about the suggestion of a people's vote. What are your thoughts on that, about the two parties cooperating together in order to achieve this?
Sometimes, it seems the only way out, because every time you look at the figures, nothing is going to pass. The Theresa May vote isn't going to pass, the no deal isn't going to pass. So what do? And what you do is, and they're beginning to say, okay, so we throw it back to the people and we say, what is it exactly that you want? Not, do you want to be in or do you want to be out? But actually, what is the deal that you want? Because it seems to me that this compromise deal that pleases almost nobody, actually the reason it doesn't please anybody is because it's both out, so the Remainers across, and it's taking all the EU rules. So we're not anywhere, and most of the people, yes, I think that what worries me about Theresa May's approach is that she's gaming it. We have the most important crisis since 1939, and Theresa May is saying, if I can push it, then all the people who are so worried about a no vote will vote for my deal. And I don't think that's the way to make policy on something this important.
Yeah, Joanne Nadler, your response to Theresa May's strategy of kicking the can down the road, this vote perhaps now being held in January, instead there being no plan B on the table. How do you interpret that in terms of strategy?
Well, can I first of all just say that yes, we are facing a political and I think a constitutional crisis, but we're not on the verge of a war, so we need to get things into some kind of perspective. But to go back to the point that I made previously, I think that the strategy or the tactic, if you like, of postponing the vote until as late as possible in January, I can completely understand why the Prime Minister is taking that, is playing it that way. And we can't say for certain that her vote wouldn't pass, that her deal won't pass in the House of Commons, because there is still a possibility that she may get some kind of legal wording about the backstop, and I think that would reassure the majority of Brexiteers, who would then vote for the deal. And obviously that's what she's hoping for. It's unlikely based on what we know at the moment, but apart from David Lidington having talks, we also know that the government has dispatched its senior legal officer, or will be doing so, I believe, next week, to Brussels to go again into detail over what might be written into subsection clause 4B or whatever of the deal, in order to get that legal framework over sunset clause or whatever you want to call it on the backstop.
Scarlett Maguire, you said previously that you don't think Remain should be included on the ballot paper if there were a people's vote. It should be a vote on the deal itself.
No. I think it should be on the deal, but I think that.
Do you think Remain should be included as an option?
I think it has to be. I mean, I think that there's the deal, and then is this what you really wanted? Is this what you really voted for? Because Remain has to be put back on. There's absolutely no question that, actually, to quote Keir Starmer, if you have it between the deal and crashing out, it's between the bad and the appalling. You have to have a deal. We're in the stage where the Treasury says that whatever way we come out of the European Union, it is financially appalling for this country. I mean, it gets worse the worse we get. So, of course, we have to say, if we're having a second referendum, we have to say, look at the options, look at the serious options, and Remain has to be an option.
Joanne Nadler, you were shaking your head at that. Just quickly, your response.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that clearly this is, we have reached a potential impasse in all of this, And in that context, talk of a second referendum initially sounds quite sensible, almost quite seductive. But when you start to look into the implications, both in terms of what it says about how we treat the British people and how seriously we take their vote, and secondly, just in the sheer practicality of how you'd actually write the ballot paper, how many layers of referendum would you need? Would you need one, then followed by another one? The timing involved in all of this, I think renders it completely, it's just a non-starter.
And Scott, a final thought from you. What should Labour be doing this week, in your opinion?
I think that Jeremy Corbyn should be doing what he says he does, which is listening to his members. And it was absolutely clear at the Labour Party conference that the membership wanted a referendum. They wanted to be able to have another look. I understand it's very difficult trying to keep the party together, but I do think that he's got pressure on all sides, and he's actually got to be he's going to be the leader of the Democratic Party, and he's got to be talking seriously instead of dismissing a second referendum.
Joanne Mather, Scarlett Maguire, we really appreciate your thoughts today. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, an undisturbed tomb believed to be more than 4,000 years old has been discovered in Egypt, with archaeologists describing it as one of a kind. We spoke to Egyptologist Hebi Out El Gawad about the significance of the find.
Well, it's stunning. The images that you can see, it's like something that has been just painted yesterday and looked up and you open next morning and here you are in the middle of a tomb that is absolutely and totally intact. So it's quite a significant sign for the state of preservation of the tomb itself, how the colours look so fresh and so vivid. So
I was struck by that in that we saw the video and it's full of media and all the rest of it. But this will degrade quite quickly, won't it, unless it's looked after properly?
no, they were saying, well, it wouldn't be open to the public at all, like currently. They are still going into further excavations. There are still quite a few shafts that they haven't discovered yet that we might find some sarcophagus of the deceased, the tomb owners, or perhaps some of his inner objects. So I think it would be, we're not looking into public entry for quite some years.
So tell us about the tomb, because it's of a high priest, is that right?
Yes, he was called Wahti. So he would be, we know this from the inscriptions, and interestingly, for how vivid the tomb is and the colors and the state of preservation, you can even from very low resolution images, you can clearly read the hieroglyphs. So you can see that he was an overseer of the palace for the king. He was also a high priest of purification. He seems to have been quite highly influential within the reign of a king called Nefertiti. So we're looking at around the mid-25th century BC, so 4,400 years ago.
This is Sky News coming up. A disappointing end to the year for Britain's Justin Rose.
Time and start with the latest showbiz news. A warning, some flash photography is coming up. If you couldn't get tickets to Bruce Springsteen's Broadway performance, you'll soon be able to see it at home. Springsteen on Broadway, the film, will appear on Netflix early on December the 16th, hours after the singer's 236th and last performance in Manhattan's Walter Kerr Theatre. A soundtrack is being released 2 days earlier.
To be up there without a rope, it's obviously much higher consequence.
In California's Yosemite National Park stands El Capitan, a 3,000-foot granite monolith whose near vertical walls attract hardcore climbers from across the world. Over the years, thousands of people have scaled the towering rock formation, but in June 2017, Alex Honnold did something that has never been done before, climbing it without a rope.
I guess I've been dreaming about this on El Cap since 2009 or so maybe 6 years before I started doing serious work into it. And then I put maybe a year and a half of effort into it, sort of not knowing whether or not it would actually work out, whether or not it was possible for me. Hopefully I would try anyway. And And then the last 6 months or so, I was pretty sure it was possible. I was pretty sure I could do it, and that's when I was really focused and really dedicated to it.
Free soloing, as the practice is known, requires incredible physical and mental strength. One mistake, however small, is almost certain to be fatal. Arnold's extraordinary feat, described by climbers as one of the greatest athletic accomplishments of any kind, is captured in a new documentary, Free Solo.
Switch your feet, left foot stems out to this really bad sloping black foothold. Switch your thumbs. And then reach out left to a big sloping bread loaf type hold that feels kind of grainy. From there, either karate kick or double dino to an edge on the opposite wall. In some ways, it makes more sense to do the big two-handed jump because you're jumping to a good edge, so there's actually something to catch.
Welcome back. Time to cross over to Rob at Sky Sports Centre with another update.
This sports bulletin is brought to you by Vitality. For life insurance that rewards healthy living.
Good afternoon. It could be all changed again at the top of the Premier League and Scottish Premiership this afternoon. Let's start in Scotland, where Celtic can go top with the win at Hibernian. If they want to win, they'll have to do it the hard way because they trail already by a goal to nil. Nikita Slivka on the mark after just 45 seconds for Hibernian, much to the delight of their manager, Neil Lennon. Rangers play later. They can go second if they beat Hamilton. That's a 3 o'clock. Three of the Premier League's top 5 are in action today. Liverpool will return to the top if they beat rivals Manchester United at Anfield. That's the second of today's Super Sunday games. Before that, Arsenal will be looking to keep pace with the leaders. They face Southampton, who are looking for their first win under new manager Ralph Hasenhüttl. For Arsenal, Laurent Koscielny returns for his first Premier League game of the season. Danny Ings and Maya Shida coming for Southampton. Greg Whelan is at St Mary's.
Long term for Southampton, the appointment of Ralph Hasenhüttl is all about getting back to the days of Pochettino, Koeman, high-pressing, possession football. Short term, it's all about Premier League points, and the obstacles to that don't come much bigger than Unai Emery's Arsenal. Alan Smith is our commentator here. Alan, the appointment of Ralph Hasenhüttl, what have you made of it? Is it the right appointment at this time for Southampton?
Well, results will only tell us that in the future months, but it is, I think, taking that step back to the old philosophy that Southampton had, which they profited from. A manager that perhaps not many people in this country would know too much about, but you look at his record, finishing second behind Bayern for Leipzig. It's an amazing achievement, really. So he comes with a big reputation. He's a big character, clearly, from what he's said so far. I think we're going to enjoy him in this league. Perhaps the players over the last week or so haven't enjoyed it so much in as that they've been really tired, working muscles they didn't think they had. It really has upped the workload, but I think something like that does need to happen in order for them to turn the corner. Briefly, does his revolution start today? There's a chance. It's a big game against a big team that's doing incredibly well, so it's there for those players.
Thanks very much indeed, Alan. The first leg of Super Sunday comes from St Mary's. Southampton are taking on Arsenal. Kick-off is at 1:30.
Chelsea are just above Arsenal in fourth. They face Brighton at the Amex Stadium. Chelsea unchanged from the side that beat Manchester City last week. Brighton made 3 changes from their defeat, only with top scorer Glenn Murray returning. And from 4 o'clock, it is one of the biggest rivalries in world football. Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool host Jose Mourinho's Manchester United. Liverpool ran back above leaders Manchester City with a win.
It's one of these games when the players talk to each other in the dressing room, and it's about because the players already prepare pretty much. Yes, because it's special, but it's, as I said before, it's as well one of the games where you sign with your contract. To try to do everything you have to win it. And so that's clear. No, it's absolutely big one. Historical wise, a big one.
I played against Liverpool that was European champion. And now I play I don't know if he's better or if he's not better. I know that the other one was European champion and this one won nothing. So I think I have to respect the ones that did it.
A bit of injury news from the Premier League. Tottenham Eric Dyer their Christmas fixtures to be out for 2 weeks after surgery to remove his appendix. For the second day in a row, England have been outclassed at the Hockey World Cup. They lost 8-1 to Australia in the third place playoff. Blake covers Australia ahead after 8 minutes. Moments later, it was 2-0. Tom Craig, the scorer. And he got his second after 19 minutes to make it 3-0. Things got even worse. Trent Mitton then made it 4 after half an hour. Australia then scored twice in a minute. Tim Brand made it 5-0. Tom Craig then completed his hat-trick for number 6. Some joy for England as Barry Middleton pulled one back to make it 6-1. Australia still had time to score 2 more goals before full-time. Jeremy Hayward got them both. Australia finishing third in the competition. Belgium play the Netherlands in the final later today. Justin Rose has missed the chance to return the top of golf's world rankings. Indeed, they top 12 finish at the Indonesian Open this morning and was tied for 4th overnight. But this double bogey at the second contributed to him dropping 3 shots over the first 2 holes. Much worse was to follow, with Rose needing 5 putts on the 12th as he recorded a triple bogey 8. More frustration came on the very next hole as well, as he dropped another shot at the 13th. Rose would still have claimed the number 1 spot with his eagle attempt at 18th, but he had to settle for a birdie instead. His 3 over par round of 75, so he was in a tie for 17th. Thailand's Boom Saxon Sin hails his nerve to claim the title. He scored in the past 68, giving him victory by 3 shots from his compatriot Jazz Taylor Watkins. Saxon Sin's second win in Indonesia after he won the event 2 years ago. Great Britain's Rocky Fielding lost his WBA super middleweight title to Canelo Alvarez in New York this morning. He was well beaten by the Mexican wearing the red shorts, a body blow with the left forcing Fielding down the very first round, and that set the tone. The Brit was able to continue, but things didn't get much better. Fielding on the canvas once again in the second round, getting back to his feet to carry on once again. After hitting the floor for a 3rd time in round 3, a 4th visit meant Fielding's time was up. Alvarez's decision to step up away, paying off as he became world champion in a 3rd separate division.
Yeah, just stayed there too. I was just getting caught with the shots there. We worked on a lot too, you know what I mean? And I think Boxer really a big fighter, quite a worked hard.
Still learning curve. I'm proud of him, you know. He got up every time and those body shots were crippling and he couldn't fight back. That's all he can ask for in a fighter. So he'll come again.
So a bad night for Fielding, but a much better one for Katie Taylor at Madison Square Garden. She won on points against the previously England Wallstrom in each of the 10 rounds to retain her world titles. The second test between Australia and India is finally balanced after day 3. Indian captain Virat Kohli completed his 25th test century in Perth. He made 123. The tourist then lost 7 wickets for 60 runs and brought out for 283, a first inning deficit of 43. Australia were 132 for 4 at the close, a lead of 175 as when Kawaja will resume tomorrow on 41 attempts. In Wellington, Tom Langham's century has put New Zealand in a commanding position after day 2 of the first test with Sri Lanka. They closed on 311 for 2 in their first innings, a lead of 29 with 8 wickets in hand. Champions still trail up in Scotland. Birmingham 1 set to 0. Watch that game over on Sky Sports Football. We're back next one.
For life insurance that rewards healthy living, Vitality.
Many thanks indeed. Well, time now for a check of the weather.
Beneath pink skies by the Taj Mahal, or as the sun sets in the City of Angels.
Well, yesterday's storms all but cleared away from the far northeast, and we're looking at a changeable week ahead that will be a little less cold than it has been. This morning, fog over southern parts of the country may linger, but many central and eastern parts of the country will have a fine morning with plenty of nice sunny spells. Temperatures will reach 6 to 8 degrees Celsius for most, but it'll be milder in the southwest where the daytime high will even reach double figures. We've got pleasant and light winds. Showers in the west will become more widespread, I'm afraid, before merging together to give some longer spells of rain this afternoon and spreading east across England and Wales. Scotland and Ireland will maintain sunshine and showers throughout the day, and overnight shower activity will become confined to coastal areas with a dry and mostly clear night elsewhere.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
This is Sky News coming up. Senior Conservatives at loggerheads over Britain's Brexit future. So what next for Theresa May's deal? Another weekend of criticism from all sides.
In Malaysia, we have this multiracial society. Therefore, we'll be getting multiracial cultures, food, everything. You know, we have a good hospitality of these Malaysian people. They are very good, they are very friendly. You go and see our beautiful beaches. You go snorkeling. We have a very good beaches. Eco-tourism, trekking, jungle, rafting. We have lots of things to offer. Once you go there, you will see. You will like it.
This is Sky News at 1, the headlines. Theresa May takes a break from Brexit, but the warring factions continue the battle over a new people's vote.
A second referendum would be divisive. We had the people's vote, we had the referendum, and now we've got to get on with implementing it.
You can't be presented with two bad choices. Her deal on the one hand, flawed fundamentally, and the chaos and disruption of no deal. We've got to do better than that as a country. And that's why I think it's really important we now go back to the people and ask them.
Theresa May lashes out at Tony Blair for backing a second referendum and accuses him of insulting the office he once held. Protesters, the family of a 7-year-old migrant girl, demand answers about how she died in US custody. New face for the £50 note, the growing campaign to make sure it's someone from a minority ethnic background. And in sport, Jose Mourinho has a message for Liverpool as he tries to stop Jurgen Klopp's team going top of the Premier League. Good afternoon. The Education Secretary David Hines has told Sky News the Cabinet has not discussed a second Brexit referendum or a people's vote. It follows reports that senior ministers have been sounding out opposition parties to break the deadlock over Brexit. Mr Hinds was speaking on the Sophie Wood on Sunday programme here on Sky News. Meanwhile, the former Transport Minister Joe Johnson told the programme that there should be a second people's vote and called for the deal to be put before Parliament.
A second referendum would be divisive. We've had the people's vote, we had the referendum, and now we've got to get on with implementing it. And any idea of having a second referendum now and sort of break through an impasse, I just think is wrong. It might postpone the impasse, but then it would extend it. So what we need to do is get on with this. The Prime Minister has been in Brussels, been talking to the different European leaders to help secure those extra reassurances that colleagues understandably are looking for on the backstop. But then we have to get together again, and we have to support a balanced deal which gives us a good Brexit for Britain.
MPs are talking to each other all the time, and inevitably you're going to be talking to cabinet ministers as well. So of course MPs are talking about what on earth we're going to do. We've spent 2.5 years negotiating a deal which is going to be completely unacceptable to Parliament. We have to find a way through. And to my mind, going back to the people and asking them to give the final say on whether they want to do Brexit on this basis or not is the right way to go.
For more on this, let's join our political correspondent Laura Bundock in Westminster. Momentum certainly seems to be growing for a second referendum, but still a lot of opposition to it, Laura.
Yeah, there is. I mean, let's be honest though, a few weeks ago even, it seemed an absolute impossibility there'd be a second referendum. It is though, perhaps increasing in likelihood at the moment. There's certainly a lot more noise around it as well because of the deadlock in Parliament. And a lot of people now believe that the one way to break that deadlock is to hold another vote. But Damien Hinds clearly ruling it out today, saying that a second referendum would do nothing to break the gridlock that there is surrounding Brexit. That's certainly not how those pushing for the so-called people's vote see it. Here's Chuka-Umunna, Labour MP, very much in support of having that second vote.
Well, I'm not going to go into conversations I have or have not had with cabinet ministers, but look, I think it is absolutely vital that Parliament shows it is prepared to put party political differences to one side at a time of national crisis and try and work together in the national interest to find a consensus on the way through this mess. So I don't think it should be controversial that there is dialogue across the parties on this, and indeed I think the Labour Front Bench have intimated that they want to see this type of working in order to resolve the problems that we've got, which is that there is not one view in the House of Commons on how we go forward, other than the fact that I think the overwhelming majority of members of Parliament think that leaving without a deal would be highly irresponsible.
Well, he didn't want to talk about it there, but he was at the start there referring to the meeting he had with David Livington, Theresa May's de facto deputy, on Thursday. The reports today that Mr Lidington was not only sounding out Labour MPs about having a second referendum, but advocating it as well. Now, Chuka didn't want to comment, but I spoke to one other Labour MP who was in that meeting who told me, actually, no, it was fair to say that Mr Lidington, although he listened, he certainly wasn't agreeing with them at this stage. But it's very interesting these conversations are taking place at all. The government line remains that no, there is no second referendum. It would be a betrayal of the referendum result. However, these conversations are taking place. The Labour Front Bench won't back it either at the moment. Lots of talk.
Of the wording of that memo, the way it's been described?
Well, it's the most convoluted way to basically hide the fact that there was a guy that hated Donald Trump, Christopher Steele, who got paid through Fusion GPS $9 million to create a phony dossier filled with a bunch of lies in order to get a FISA judge to go after and wire wiretap the Trump campaign. This stuff is just absolutely outrageous. And when I hear people talk about a witch hunt, there is a witch hunt. The problem is they're going after the wrong witch. They need to go after the people who use their badges as a way of pummeling private citizens and individuals who were not suspected of criminal activity and have created this illusion that there was something wrong done by now President, then candidate Donald Trump and the people around him. And there's been no proof of that. And it's absurd.
You think you're going to get any answers from him, though? I mean, it's a lot of I don't know, I don't recall. I mean, this is the guy who exonerated Hillary Clinton before he interviewed her or her top aides. I don't anticipate we're going to get the answers we're looking for here.
I don't think so, Jedediah, because 251 times behind closed doors with Congress, he didn't remember anything. So when he gets to Washington, he may need help finding Capitol Hill. He doesn't remember a thing. He's the Sergeant Schultz of the FBI. I know nothing. But he knows something when he sits in front of a group of friendly people, because then he admits. I mean, this was bizarre. I think it was the undoing of Jim Comey when he said, you know, we got by with it. We got away with it.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of the people around him have all been dismissed. They weren't dismissed because they were elevated. They got caught, is what happened.
You're alluding to getting by with talking to General Flynn with no lawyers, whereas Hillary Clinton had a whole army of them with her. Well, none of it was under oath. We got to turn to 2020, though. There's a new poll out of Iowa. It was commissioned by the Iowa Register and a network that starts with C and ends with N. And it polled Democrats. Likely Iowa Democrats caucus goers' views on Hillary Clinton. 49% unfavorable, 47% favorable. The other one, I think, even more revealing aspect of this, Hillary Clinton's impact, if she were to run in the 2020 race, 72% of Democrats feel like she would detract from the race. Does this mean it's just a non-starter for her?
Look, I've got better support among Democrats in Iowa than Hillary does right now. I mean, that just shows you how much trouble she's in. And when they're talking about Joe Biden being their favorite, what I love is that the Democrats are definitely looking for new blood and a fresh face. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, well, Joe Biden at the top of the list, as you say, the fresh face, so we'll see. But I see Democrats on social media pointing out that the same poll basically back in 2006 had John Edwards at the top by a mile at 36%. Of course, he didn't win. Barack Obama was in third place at that point at 13%. So take all of this with a grain of salt. Quick last point on that, Governor.
Well, and that's the point. I've been in Iowa many times. I can tell you that the early stages of Iowa polls don't mean a stinking thing. So, it's fun. The pundits can enjoy talking about it, but it's a long way before 300 town halls and shaking hands at every barbecue restaurant.
The man who won Iowa in 2008, President Mike Huckabee.
He knows it.
Almost. You won Iowa in 08. You didn't go all the way, but you won Iowa.
Yep.
All right. So
Thanks, Governor.
The fact is, there's a lot of stuff to be had, and I just want to remind you before we go. This right here.
They've got folders too now. Oh, man. Thanks, Governor. Merry Christmas.
Very afraid.
I kind of am afraid.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. All right, we're going to turn to some headlines for you now. A decorated war hero is charged with murder after he admitted to killing a suspected Taliban bomb maker to Fox News in 2016.
Did you kill the Taliban bomb maker?
Yes.
Former Green Beret Major Matthew Goldstein's lawyer joined us earlier. He says the Army is betraying his client.
His patrol, it was approximately a 50-man plus patrol, was under attack by a superior enemy force, and Matt engaged the enemy directly. What's really important for the public to understand is there was nothing described in Brett's interview that the Army didn't have back in 2011.
Goldstein's wife Julie joining us next hour. A Dutch musician has been arrested in the killing of an American college student. Police arrested Joel Schelling at a train station in the Netherlands. He's accused of stabbing Sarah Pappenheim to death. Her mother tells the Minneapolis Star-Tribune the suspect was her roommate. It comes as new reports show Pappenheim told a friend he recently threatened to kill 3 people. Anti-government protests stormed the streets of France for a 5th straight weekend. French demonstrators are demanding better living standards and a referendum system to let citizens make national policies. Officials say about 3,000 people turned out Saturday, a sharp decrease from the last few weeks. And those are your headlines.
All right. Meanwhile, Macron, your buddy.
Yeah.
Democrats now just weeks away from taking control of the House. One Democrat says there's 3 things they should not do with their new majority. She's here to tell us. That's coming up next.
That'll be very interesting. And Russian President Vladimir Putin, Vlad, starting another war, this time with the rap music world. I was reading about it in the New York Post this morning. It's kind of interesting.
We saved hundreds on our car insurance when we switched to Geico. This is how it made me feel. It was like that feeling when you're mowing the lawn on a sunny day, and without even trying, you end up with one last strip that's exactly the width of your mower. When you're done, it looks so good you post the picture on social media. And it gets 127 likes.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We pull people off the street and ask them about their hearts.
How's your heart?
My heart's pretty good.
You sure? Yes, I think so. How do you know? If you're driving a car, you have the check engine light, but the heart doesn't have a check heart sign. I want to show you something. Put both fingers right on those pads. There you go. In 30 seconds, we're going to have a medical grade EKG. There it is. That is you. Look at that.
With KardioMobile, the FDA-cleared personal EKG device, you can take a medical-grade EKG in just 30 seconds from anywhere. KardioMobile is proven to detect atrial fibrillation, one of the leading causes of stroke.
How much do you think this device costs?
Probably $1,000.
$1,000? $99.
Wow, that's impressive.
How great is it to have that peace of mind that anywhere, anytime you can check?
It would be nice to really see my own heart whenever I wanted to.
KardioMobile puts peace of mind in your pocket for only $99. And for a limited time, get a free carry pod with purchase. To order, visit KardioMobile.com.
There's only one you, with your own goals and motivations, your own definition of healthy and happy. So why isn't there a workout made just for you? Now there is. I am Max, the breakthrough fitness intelligence platform only on the new Bowflex Max Trainer. I'll learn your capabilities. Can you give me one more? And help you reach your goals. We can start in only 4 minutes. Don't worry, we'll take it slow, but I know how to get you to 30. Yeah, bring the fire. I'm the coach that can meet you and you and you, beginner to athlete, and adapt with personalized workouts as unique as your fingerprint, and find the right fit for you. I am Max, only on the new Bowflex Max Trainer. Personalized fitness is here. Hurry, order by the 18th for Christmas delivery at Bowflex.com.
Smart news.
I was only watching news I agreed with.
I was only getting news from social media.
Now, I use Smart News.
It has news from all sides.
I
trust Smart News. Download Smart News for free today.
Your enamel is very precious. Acidic foods can wear away your enamel. Your tooth is going to look yellower, more dull. I recommend Pro-Enamel because it helps protect and strengthen your enamel. It's pro-enamel. It's the positive thing.
Fox News Channel and Sirius XM, your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus, every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7, Channel 115.
Democrats are set to take control of the House in the new year, and our next guest, a Democratic strategist, is warning her own party what they shouldn't do with their newfound power.
Here to break it down is Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall. Leslie, thank you so much for being here. We wish you could be here in person. We love you. Thanks for joining us.
And we match, so that's always
I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there in person because it's 3 hours later.
True. You'd have additional sleep in your docket for sure. So Leslie, help us out. You know the mind of Democrats. I don't. There's been a lot of talk. I mean, an entire billionaire ran ads about impeaching Trump, Tom Steyer. Do you think that's something they should try to do?
No, and I've actually interviewed Tom Steyer on my radio show about it and, questioned him about it and told him that. Look, what is the goal in a Democrat, or quite frankly, anybody who supports impeachment, is to make Donald Trump a one-term president. And that's really where Democrats should be focusing. They have a majority in the House, try for a majority in the Senate, and try to get that seat in the Oval Office. Impeachment doesn't do that, and I think we all know, Pete and Jedediah, that if we look at history, the GOP, when they were even saying to Democrats, look, don't do it. Politically, it would be suicide, because what happened back when Bill Clinton was impeached is, even though a majority of people wanted it, Bill Clinton was impeached, he remained president, and who resigned? Newt Gingrich, the leader of the GOP in the House, and the GOP, they lost seats, the Republicans lost seats in the House. So politically, it's not a good idea, and it's also not good, in my opinion, for voters. It's a waste of taxpayer time and money to do that, because that's not really what most voters were voting Democrats into the majority in the House to do. Yeah, on that point, Leslie, Americans seem to agree with you, because there was a recent CNN poll on Trump impeachment among Americans. 43% yes, 50% saying no. So what you're saying tends to be accurate among when you poll people, what they're saying. I want to get to your second point, which is really interesting. You say do not investigate Ivanka's emails. Why? Well, because it basically, I feel it will come out the same way it did for Hillary Clinton, which is there is no crime. This was foolish, it was stupid, it was irresponsible, whatever adjective you want to use, but it's not criminal. Again, it's a waste of taxpayer time and money, and I feel that Democrats would come out looking like hypocrites, especially because they still go, and her emails. Well, then it would, the shoe would be on the other foot. And this, again, is not what Americans who voted the Democrats into the majority in the House in January did not vote them to do.
It ends up being a lot of noise that sounds like investigation and resistance as opposed to something proactive. Third tip you mentioned is do not abolish ICE. We've heard a lot of prominent progressives, Democrats say that. You say that's a bad call.
Oh, very bad call. And that's divided among Democrats, too. Various polls will show. It's not the abolishing of this organization, because you actually do need ICE. It's a reformation of that, and going further, what Americans want on both sides of the aisle, and what I think we all agree we need, there are just different ways to achieve that goal, is comprehensive immigration reform. Better securing our borders. Some people want walls, some people want more border patrol and other cyber security uses, attacking the dreamer issue, not separating families, from providing a pathway to citizenship, the list goes on, and abolishing ICE. That doesn't achieve that goal. So I think sometimes my party and people in my party confuse their goal, like you want Trump to be one-term president, impeachment is not the way. You want comprehensive immigration reform, abolishing ICE is not the way. Well, we'll be waiting to see if they follow your advice, Leslie.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Leslie, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Go back to bed.
Well, California wanted to tax its residents for sending text messages until now. A brand new update coming this morning.
And why don't we start a GoFundMe page for Trump's wall? I've actually thought that before. That's a question being asked in a brand new episode. Michelle Malkin has something to say about it. She's here live. Coming up next.
I can't believe you got me into this prison. She can make me for that. I showed my dad this deal at Hellsburg. He bought jewelry, and I got this. It's my Finder's fee.
Get a free Nintendo Switch system when you buy a gift at Hellsburg Diamonds.
It was here. I couldn't catch my breath.
It was the last song of the night. Felt like my heart was skipping beats.
They said I had AFib.
What's AFib?
I knew that meant I was at a greater risk of stroke.
I needed answers.
My doctor and I chose Xarelto
to help keep you protected from a stroke.
Once daily Xarelto, a latest generation blood thinner, significantly lowers the risk of stroke in people with AFib not caused by a heart valve problem. Warfarin interferes with at least 6 of your body's natural blood clotting factors. Xarelto is selective, targeting just one critical factor. For AFib patients well managed on warfarin, there is limited information on how Xarelto compares in reducing the risk of stroke. Don't stop taking Xarelto without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. Xarelto can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. It may increase your risk of bleeding if you take certain medicines. Get help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising. Do not take Xarelto if you have an artificial heart valve or abnormal bleeding. Before starting, tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures and any kidney or liver problems.
Learn all you can
to help protect yourself from a stroke.
Talk to your doctor about Xarelto.
Shopping for home on Wayfair is so easy. I should make a jingle. Wayfair, you make home shopping easy.
Wait, this sounds familiar.
These new tools make my shopping a breeze. I can play in my room while I'm falling asleep.
How about Wayfair, you got just what I need.
No, it's not good.
Sounds pretty good.
Discover easier home shopping at Wayfair, where it's find and unwind.
Wayfair, you got just what I need.
Tonight, so much going on and so much at stake.
Steve breaks down the latest Beltway buzz with a must-see lineup tonight. Don't miss the next revolution.
10 years ago, I had an undiagnosed heart condition, and erectile dysfunction was actually the first sign that something was wrong.
Luckily, I'm a doctor, an expert in sexual health, and Zach's that.
Not everyone has a doctor in the house, and some health conditions can be really tough to talk about. We started Roman to change that.
Now you can go online and chat with a physician.
And if treatment is right for you, we'll ship FDA-approved medication right to your door. If you're experiencing ED, hair loss, cold sores, or other issues, let's take care of it.
Do I, Poseidon, king of the ocean, eat fish sticks? Is water wet? I only trust Gordon's, made with wild caught Alaskan pollock. And wild is Poseidon's middle name. Just kidding, it's actually Brian. Trust the Gordon's, fisherman!
Attention parents of children with cerebral palsy. If you suspect a medical mistake may have occurred at or near the time of birth, call Science and Kirk for a free legal consultation.
Call 1-800-253-4165. That's 1-800-253-4165.
Welcome back. A couple of quick headlines for you. California forced to backtrack on its controversial proposal to tax texts. The FCC ruled texting is an information service and cannot be taxed under state law. California's scheduled vote on the measure has been canceled. Thank goodness for that. And a new referendum to end the Brexit deadlock is gaining momentum. It comes as Prime Minister Theresa May failed to get the votes to pass the current agreement with the EU. May opposes a second referendum. If you remember, she was on the stay camp in the first one, saying the second vote would threaten people's trust in government. You think? Goodness. Britain is scheduled to leave the EU on March 29th if they can figure out how to Brexit to begin with.
Where will their trust be if we don't go through with what they voted for?
The tragic death of a 7-year-old migrant girl still under investigation, but some on the left wasting no time using it politically to attack the president.
Republicans have been okay with this horrific implementation of tragedy against children, inflicting trauma on children as a political strategy. We need to have everyone in Congress and in America rise up and say this is wrong, it has to end.
Here to react, columnist and investigative journalist Michelle Malkin. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
How do you react to this? It's a difficult case. How do you react to the Democrats jumping in and saying this is all about the president targeting kids?
I think the Democrats' exploitation of this tragedy is disgraceful. It's also very predictable, and they've learned nothing. If you recall, earlier this summer, there was another young girl that became the poster child for Trump derangement syndrome at the border. The 7-year-old, the 2-year-old was allegedly separated from her mother, and then the iconic photo appeared on a Time magazine cover, photoshopped with Trump looking callous, and it turned out that the entire narrative that was plied by the liberal media and Democrats was completely false. The father was interviewed in Honduras and told the local reporter there the truth, which is that the girl had not been separated. There was no monstrous barbarian behavior by the Border Patrol, and in fact, the girl had been snatched by her mother against the father's will and dragged all the way to the border. So with this newest case, the 7-year-old, people like Merkley and Jim Carrey, who put out an atrocious tweet blaming Trump's, quote, sadism at the border for the death, they're wasting no time exploiting this crisis when the father and
the consulate official themselves had said that the Border Patrol acted honorably in this case and did everything they could as soon as the girl had exhibited any signs of health problems. And in fact, just less than 48 hours before her death, the father had signed a form saying that she was in completely good health. There are missing facts here, but that's not going to get in the way of the Democrats blaming Trump for this, when all of the magnets that are drawing people here illegally are really the things that are to blame here, as well as whatever happened in that 48 hours between the time that the father said there was nothing wrong with her and then she died.
Well, Senator Merkley went on to say it's not about the magnets. The wall is the problem itself. Listen to Senator Merkley on that.
I've been down on the border, I've seen the fencing, you can see through it. In fact, the border guard itself says a concrete wall is an absolute mistake. They say the border guard needs to be able to see what's going on the other side, that the wall doesn't stop any bad things from happening, it just makes it impossible for the folks on our side to see what's developing.
The wall doesn't stop any bad things from happening.
You know, this guy has absolutely no clue about what happens at the border, and so he's traipsed down there to exploit this crisis when there's a variety of different measures that are taken at the 2,000 miles of the border, and some of it is see-through, some of it will be concrete, and you know, it really is a cooperation between the local states and feds to provide the best way to make sure that people know that you're not going to be able to get across. As long as there is an incentive and people think that they can dig under or climb over, they're going to do it. And it is the fact that you've got open borders extremists who have looked the other way. Where were they when these things were happening under the Obama administration? I think that's the biggest sign of hypocrisy of the open border zealots.
Michelle, there was a headline in the New York Post. Why hasn't someone made a GoFundMe for Trump's wall? What do you think about that?
Well, it's a good idea, and in fact, if you look on GoFundMe, there are several individual accounts of people, just average American citizens who do care about this country. I definitely agree with people who've got their heart in the right place there, but if you're going to raise some $2 or $3 billion, there are easier ways to do it, and President Trump has floated a very good idea. He would like to tax remittances. This is the billions of dollars that are sent back from immigrant workers to their home countries. Even if you slapped just a small percentage tax, say 2%, you could raise enough to build 2 or 3 walls. And, you know, we focus on the southern border, but there are problems on the northern border as well that I've been reporting on for the last 25 years that have been neglected as well.
Very good point. Hey, what's better than one wall?
Damn Canadians,
3 or 4 walls. I'm with you, Michelle. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, well, in another tough story, a former Green Beret now charged in the killing of a Taliban bomb maker years after it took place. And now he can even face the death penalty from our own government. His wife joins us live next hour.
Plus, got bacon? We're getting our fix right here on Fox & Friends with a bacon vending machine. Give it a try.
Excedrin ceases a relentless pounding headache, even if no one else can. It's why we focus only on headaches. Nothing works faster. We see your pain and what's possible without it. Excedrin Extra Strength.
When my doctor put me on a cholesterol-lowering statin drug, I knew I should take CoQ10 with it. I take Cunol CoQ10. Why? Because Cunol has 3 times better absorption than regular CoQ10. Cunol, the better CoQ10.
After Mom's hospital and rehab stay, we didn't think we'd get another chance to celebrate a holiday with her. But Visiting Angels has given us the greatest gift possible. Mom at home, happy, well cared for, and most importantly, safe. Sarah's not just a caregiver, she's part of the family, helping us keep our traditions alive.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
My dad is a
a collector of life. But I finally got him to simplify. He even got the new Jitterbug Smart 2 from GreatCall, their simplest smartphone ever.
How much for this? That was my daughter's. I couldn't park it back.
A redesigned menu and a large screen make it easy to call, text, or email.
That was my wife's. I think I want to keep it. Look at this thing.
Still, I worry about him.
Sorry, not for sale.
For a 5-star urgent response right on the keypad, I know he can always get help.
One touch immediately connects him to highly trained 5-star agents who will get him help in any emergency, big or small. And with a link app, alerts will be sent to the family if a call is made to 5-star.
Now it's easier than ever for us to stay connected.
Hi, honey.
Hey, Dad. How's it going?
Great. People love my stuff. No.
The new Jitterbug Smart 2. Service starts as low as $17.48 a month. Get 25% off at Best Buy or
Pain is for me.
I don't know what's going on. I've done all sorts of research, read
Actually,
various
quite a bit of
reports,
pain.
looked at chart patterns. I could build my own
I ain't got nothing to handle.
and you're still not sure if you want to make the trade. Is that sounds like a case of analysis paralysis. Is there a cure? TD Ameritrade's trade desk. They can help that trade.
Somebody told me about 3 days ago that I thought
Sounds perfect.
I was having a little bit of a breathing